Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. We have, again, wild updates. I mean, at this point, it sounds hyperbolic, but it's not. It's an actual crazy story here. The Bachelor Clayton paternity scandal rocking the world. Fake cancer texts exposed. Kind of one of the lowest things you can do. This along the lines of stolen valor. Stolen valor normally refers to military, right? But there is something about like stolen victimhood or lab-grown victimhood. You know, the idea that you could process maybe, I don't know, the ability for others to feel bad for you in an instance where maybe they normally wouldn't. You know, the lady that's accused Clayton of being the father of unborn twins has now been exposed for faking cancer. Not only has she been exposed, but very oddly, she continues to double down and has kind of remained pretty quiet since being exposed, as far as isn't fighting it right now, even though, you know, under penalty of perjury, she made a statement saying she never faked cancer. So we're going to share those texts that prove her to be a liar, especially and specifically in this case here with regards to the fake cancer texts, which are important in the Bachelor Clayton Echard paternity scandal. I should say this. I saw a thread. I did not read I read like 2 comments. Okay. I didn't read all the comments, but it was in that other subreddit, you know, the one that I'm banned in. And they posted that Clayton went on a, you know, conservative YouTube channel to discuss the case. And I just read one of the comments. I was like, why do people feel like he hasn't gotten his voice out? Everybody knows the story, right? They kind of said this kind of, hey, what does he expect, a front page in the New York Times? The lack of empathy that some people have for a man who's had his character ruined and destroyed. Look, it's one thing to go on The Bachelor and get a bad edit, or, you know, tell a few people you loved him after you had sex consensually in the fantasy suite. That's one thing, right? But it's another to have what has been done to him, which is orders of protection and insane allegations, both in court documents and outside of court documents. So the fact that Clayton found out that she had done this several times before to other men, I mean, that's the gift of this story, is that it was public, or it was made public, and idiots like me, Pond Scum Posse, like Megan Fox and Umbrella Guy, Reality Steve, and others, Caitlin Bristow for sharing our story to her audience. Like, these are all important aspects of getting the story out there so that we can then find out that there's actually more damage that was done. So Clayton's not the last guy, and certainly not the first guy that this could possibly happen to if it's not stopped. And why is this a big deal? Faking cancer. I mean, do I need to even go there? I mean, everyone's dealt with family members that have either lost their lives due to this brave struggle, and to just use that so callously and cowardly to what? Convince a guy to stick around? It's really rubbish. And we're going to get into that right after we discuss this. Seeking Justice for Clayton Echard pointed out something very interesting from the Woodnick pre-trial statement. Again, June 10th, Monday, is the day. I'll be live streaming all morning, maybe longer, from the van. We'll be in the van at the courthouse with gallons of gasoline for the generator. I'm told we could stream for hundreds of hours. So we will be there in full reporter mode with our very tight Calvin Klein underpants on to make sure that we record the strongest and most justice-oriented stream you've ever seen. But Justice for Corey is now on the on Clayton Justice page. Now, who's Corey? Now, Corey Keith, CK. CK1, remember that? The Calvin Klein cologne. Everyone, if you had CK1, you were bound to get lucky at one of the school dances. And by lucky, I mean not go home crying. Okay, let's move it on. So anyhow, someone said, what's going on with him? Why are we posting the sad meme with Corey Keith? Well, this was interesting, and it came out from Woodnick's filing here. Ruling in Clayton's favor would be a mistake in that the judge was biased against Jane and appeared to intimidate Jane's own prior counsel into refraining from complying with his Rule 3.3 ethical obligations. So I kind of glazed over this at first. I didn't really understand what it meant. But this is, I guess, Clayton's attorney is arguing that Jane Doe's attorney said that ruling in Clayton's favor would be a mistake, and that he appeared to intimidate Jane's prior counsel. I don't know if this is in the court papers. I'm assuming there's no other evidence out there, but what is a Rule 3.3 ethical obligation? Candor toward the tribunal, a lawyer shall not knowingly make a false statement or fact of or law to a tribunal or fail to correct a false statement or of material fact or law previously made to the tribunal by the lawyer. So folks are wondering if old CK here was possibly being intimidated by her current lawyer, or what the case may be. So it's very fascinating, and I fully expect that we'll find out more about this. Wild speculation happening right now on the Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Neal. Again, if there's ever a month where you spend the $5 to join the Patreon, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get your content's worth, because we're there in the chat room all day long looking at this, wondering what's coming up next. My belief is today, dare I tell you to buckle up? Where's my buckle? Hold on. I put the buckle away. Dare I tell you today may be a buckle up day. We thought it might be yesterday, but today may be a buckle up day where, you just make sure you are grounded into a seat, secured in case that we reach turbulence. We know that we are only 4 days away from the trial, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days away from the trial. And I can imagine there'll be more mudslinging and craziness that comes from this, especially if one of her previous attorneys has been silenced in any way whatsoever. So we'll have to see. It's almost like wrestling. Just when you think the fight's over, then you hear ding, some it's Corey Keith or Lexi Linval, whoever else is out there. Come on down. You're the next contestant on the saddest game show of all time, known as Faking Cancer, amongst other things. So anyhow, we've been accused of being a cult because we all believe in evidence and science and all of that. So I created a song called Children of the Scum. It's real quick, 20 seconds. Have a listen. Hit the like button. No. Lost in their maze. We're the children of the scum, folks. That's what we're calling ourselves now and forever. We are the children of the scum, a.k.a. Pond Scum Posse. And that's because he called us Pond Scum. And I don't know. Pond Scum's probably pretty good for the ecosystem. If you didn't have pond scum, you wouldn't, whatever the case is. Doesn't the pond scum help filter the water and keep everything fresh? Either way, we're keeping the truth fresh here. So our good pal, Megan Fox, a.k.a. alt-right Oprah. I'm kidding. You get an election denial. You get an election denial. You get a January 2nd. Okay. Last night on the stream, she covered this. Very great stuff. Go check it out. I'm going to read some of these text messages. So, of course, as we know, what happened was he claimed she faked cancer. Mike Maricini, her guy from 2015, 2016. We knew this was true, and then she denied it. So she denied it under penalty of perjury. Not that that stopped anybody. I swear each of the following things are true. The records attached hereto as Exhibit A are fake. These are not my medical records. I've never had, nor have I ever claimed to have ovarian cancer. Now, the first part of what she said was true. I have never had ovarian cancer. The fact that she says she's never claimed to have ovarian cancer, well, that is not true. She said, I've never had, nor have ever claimed to have an ovary removed. Also, not true. She has made these claims. So we said, bet you are lying. And we, with your help, hired, of course, a forensic computer expert. Probably the funniest part of this whole trial is, I should say funny, but ironic, maybe. I don't know what the word is, but the fact that people came together and said, you know what? I'll put $10 into this. I got a few extra dollars. I'll put it towards justice. And we hired a former Air Force vet who has done hundreds of cases, and he was extremely qualified. And he looked at every single text message, and you know what he did? He verified all of them. And then Jane's attorney was like, I'm going to have to find an expert to look at this. And they never did that. They could have. You know why? We found the expert within an hour. Within an hour, experts who could verify computer. We looked at their resume. Really credible. San Francisco area. Couldn't do it. So apparently they don't know anybody that was willing to side with them. That's what it means. If you can't find an expert, it means you can't find an expert who wants to side with you. Because, sometimes two different experts can look at two different scenarios and one say, well, I guess she could have been pregnant. And someone can say, she definitely wasn't. And they're two different experts with two different opinions. And of course, their opinion is based on evidence that they were, allowed to see. So sometimes the evidence they're looking at is not all the evidence. So they make a faulty expert opinion. In this case, it's like, look, it's so objectionably real. 100% real. These texts are real, baby, and they are great or whatever. So anyway, it's it's real. So he's in she's in gray and he's in blue. I'll just read both of them. She said that's what malignant neoplasm of right ovary is. It means I only have it limited to one ovary and it hasn't spread beyond that. So she's claiming she's got cancer in one ovary. He says everybody has cancer cells, Jane. He's diagnosing if it is something other than 1A. You have zero clue what you're talking about. And she said, cancer has developed in one ovary and it's confined to that. All right, so there it is. And again, all the metadata, who sent it, what time, and all of that. And I'm sure there's more metadata to this, but this wasn't all photoshopped, put it that way. There's 2,500 pages of this. Nobody could Photoshop all that in the quick amount of time. Not to mention, this laptop was verified to not having even been on the internet since 2016, basically proving this computer has not been used in a long time. No reason for him to lie. He says you're ridiculous. She says also that's what malignant neoplasm of right ovary is. She says that. He says everybody. Oh, I already got that one. And then he says it would say you have positive effing results. You have zero clue what you're talking about. And she says malignant. And then she posts this photo of I guess her going there, which we've seen the photo. These photos came from her, these screen grabs of the medical documents, but they've also been proven to be pretty much fake without a doubt. Here's how she was called out. We were able to call out the medical documents way before her saying that this was fake. Like, we were able to look at this and right away go, nope, this isn't real. This wouldn't be done here. You wouldn't have done that. But and then we were able to look over here and see that, how bizarre it was. These are medical letters. And the doctor said, I would strongly encourage your boyfriend to change his attitude and support you at this time. I sincerely hope things get better. All the best. No. So we knew right away this is fake. And that's why she says, well, yeah, those aren't mine. I never did that. And then we verified that, no, they were sent from you. So they are fake. They were sent from you. She said, I mean, your reaction is so incredibly hurtful. They also don't put ovarian cancer on your diagnosis if that's not it. Are you absolutely kidding me? It says they have positive results in 3 places. So again, no questioning that it says that, questioning that it's real. She says, I've provided you with everything you asked me for. Malignant means cancerous. I provided you with everything you asked me for. I'm not asking you to guarantee me a future for the rest of eternity. Again, same sort of pleas she made to the other guys. I'm asking you to stick by me and give me the strength to take care of the pregnancy and just try. I've been absolutely as vulnerable as I could be, and it's horrendously upsetting to me that your reaction right now isn't one of caring. I'm not asking you to guarantee me a future for the... Okay, so why are these doubled up? I don't know. These were double sent. It means that specifically says visit diagnoses. Malignant neoplasm of right ovary. Even includes the positive pregnancy test. That's exactly what you asked for. She's like, you asked for this. I got a 2-for-1. A cancer and a pregnancy diagnosis in one. I mean that specifically says visit. Okay, so these are sent double. So sorry, I'm not trying to read these double. He says, I'm sorry. I will be better at being a teammate. So he's trying to call her out, but he's also like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have a Reddit army, the children of the scum, to come out here. And by the way, if anyone wants to buy a Children of the Scum bracelet, go ahead. And we'll be like Taylor Swift. We'll have our own cult. She said, you just picked up my call, but not sure you meant to. I messaged my doctor and already got a response. You promised that you would be supportive once I sent you what you asked for, and this is above and beyond. So can you please take back what you said and move forward? Not asking you to act like nothing has happened, but I sure don't need the silent treatment right now with all this going on. We need to try to be teammates. Boy, she doesn't know a dang thing about teammates. She said, I mean, you said you weren't going to bail and be a better teammate. I had my D&C on Wednesday, have surgery to remove my ovary on the 31st, and you haven't said a word, so I'm concerned about your well-being and whether or not you even made it to Sacramento. So she does this thing, and this is kind of like an attachment disorder thing, where you like say you're concerned about the other person's well-being, but really you just want to hear from the other person. Did you get in okay? I got in okay. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course I got it. I just wanted to make sure you didn't respond back to me. It's like, no. You don't care that the other person got in okay. You want to make sure that they most likely haven't, decided that you're no longer viable for them. And again, I know this can hit home to people because I understand what it's like. I've been there. I've put myself into fits of anxiety wondering if, the other person is pulling away. And sometimes it's because they are pulling away. And if you don't have the anxiety, you have to let them go away. That's kind of how it is. You can't control others, is my point. She says, I have called the office from the hospital and asked them to send me a summary so I could send it to you. Here it is. Let me know if you got it. So there it is, the full summary. And again, I don't even know if we have that document with us. We have one of them, but it's a full summary. So they're further proving not only is, and again, maybe I can try to find it here. It's called full size render. So the summary is not just proving that she faked it, but proving that she sent it to him. I mean, honestly, you couldn't have a more clear-cut case here, and for whatever reason, it seems as though her attorney is less worried at this point about proving that these are wrong and more just worried about making sure this evidence doesn't get involved in the court because it's absolutely ridiculous, right? There's no other reason for why it shouldn't be here other than it's ridiculous. So anyhow, we got all the tests. I'm not gonna pull them up right now because we've already shared a lot of this. So let's just go back to the new text messages that we have here. So he got it. He looks at it. It's a whole thing. Real ovarian cancer. Your boyfriend. And it says all these things that are just absolutely insane. Back to bed, she says. I'm so dizzy I can barely stand and have thrown up the only couple bites of fruit I try to eat. I'm dealing with losing my ovary because of malignant growth, which is a huge deal that I've tried to downplay, as well as losing a child. Oh, she lost a child now. I thought you were going to try to put yourself into my shoes. I do understand that you got a terrible night's sleep, and I'm sorry for that. But you saying that you wanted to be there for me and try your best meant you understood my recovery wasn't going to be all puppies and flowers. To make me feel guilty about wanting you to come again tonight and for the fact that your presence was the only thing that got me through last night is really hurtful, and I don't deserve that. Everything says this is at least a 2-week recovery online, so please don't try to get out of it on the second night if you really do want to be with me. I'm happy to try to get you a note from my doctor, but don't make me feel guilty and like I'm pressuring you to be with me tonight when you told me you really wanted a relationship and to be my partner. This is what it's all about, not just the easy times. And by the way, so I get so offended by this because I try not to bring my own wife into it because, I try to separate like my personal life from what's going on here. But obviously the parallel is we just had a baby and my wife is such a trooper. She is so strong. I mean, she's, felt her feelings and dealt with all of the roller coasters of life and really no complaints whatsoever through such a hard process. And, with moving across the country and furnishing our new home and, having a 8-month pregnant wife helping me put wallpaper up, I got to tell you, you almost appreciate good humans more the more you read this. Do you know what I mean? Hug your loved ones. And I don't know if I even believe in inherently evil people, but I do believe that hurt people hurt people. And we have a hurt person hurting a person. He responds, I understand you had surgery yesterday, but I also need to take my job life into consideration. I don't sleep pretty much 99% of the time when I stay at your place. I can honestly only think of one time in the last 4 months where I woke up feeling refreshed and I was answering all of your questions yesterday. I said I would try, which I am doing, but there needs to be a balance. I stayed at your house Sunday, Monday, and last night, and it's like you have an issue with me staying at my own house. It's concerning because you still don't notice the pressure you put on me until I blatantly point it out to you. You talk about starting fresh, but read every message you've written me in the last 24 hours. No changes were made from you in regards to pressure or asking ridiculously loaded questions. Again, I'm trying to put my best foot forward, but you have to make it a little easier. She continues, you need to give me a little break considering I just had surgery, which again, she didn't. I have no issue with you staying at your own house in general. Oh, good. Thank you for letting him stay at his own house. But I am recovering emotionally and physically, which is nearly impossible to do on my own. I don't think it's asking you too much to be with me. I would have thought you would want to support me. I can try harder too. I need you to want to be the more giving, sacrificing one right now. I am way sick. I agree, just for different reasons. She said, I can work harder after this. Mike? And then he says, I've been in meetings, darling. Whoa. He says, I've been in meetings, darling. I want to make sure this isn't what we already covered here. Wild stuff. So, hold on, let me go back. Sorry about this. He says, I'm in meetings, darling. Oh, what a diss. So that ends there. And then the next one is, She says, obviously the main focus of my surgery was getting my ovary out. I'm sure the abortion worked. Ooh, I'm sure the abortion worked. Playing us for when it didn't. But I'm just saying I don't feel like I could get anything else done if I had to do it at this point because I'm really overwhelmed and not feeling supported or special. Where's her family? Where's her mom? Where's her sister? She says, hello? No response. And then how many minutes was it? I feel like it was that was a duplicate message. And then he says, Jane. And how long did he send his after? He said his like a few minutes later right there. 5:29, so 20 minutes later. Jane, I'm not going to be that quick at texting back. You need to chill. That's why I like phone calls, because you can knock a lot out in a short amount of time. I understand what you're saying, but I've been busy, and it was less than 24 hours since we last chatted. I also can understand your stance about no more procedures, but let's just hope that's not the case. I wouldn't even think about it until they give you your results. So he's basically telling her, don't have anxiety. You're afraid of things that just haven't happened yet. So again, this is all wild, and this is all stuff that really came out after Clayton's case. Like this existed, but from what I've heard from Mike, it's almost as if he blacked it out. From what I've heard, kind of like, I didn't even realize she claimed it was twins. I didn't like. Can you imagine not realizing if someone claimed they had twins with you? Well, why would that happen? It would happen if your life's so crazy because of all the other claims going on. So again, whether or not he knew any of this, now this is a man being told if he shows up to testify and give a powerful witness statement, he's being told that he's going to be arrested, which is absolutely wild. And I think we're going to have to make a separate video of that. So we'll have that story next. All right. Join us on Patreon if you want to wildly speculate about what might happen next. It's absolutely insane. We've never had more people in the Patreon right now. I do appreciate all of you guys right there. It's just a way to diversify our revenue streams. So many of the YouTube videos are getting demonetized. To be quite honest, our YouTube is only about 50% the revenue it used to be before this trial. I know people think, oh, Dave, you're just crushing it on the YouTube game. No, like, you don't understand. You don't get it. Like, it's been kind of a weird sacrifice to cover this. So that's why I appreciate all the support on the Patreon, which is a community that is direct to members and keeps us having these important conversations. We'll be back with more content right after this.